Hey everyone, thanks for checking out another episode of the Randy Forcier podcast. This week I'm joined by James Morin. James is the owner of Destination Fitness Maine in Lower Village, Kennebunk. He's a personal trainer, but more importantly, he's like family to me. He's my brother's best friend growing up. I've known him since he was a little kid. Our families are very close. So to have him on the podcast to talk about his successes as a business owner, what he's accomplished, type of people that he's training was very cool. I think you'll really enjoy the conversation that we had. So if you could also do me a favor, like the podcast on Facebook, if you could subscribe on Spotify and Apple and YouTube, that would be awesome as well. Really trying to grow the reach of the podcast, so every little bit helps. So thanks. I hope you enjoy this episode. James, how you doing, pal?
I'm well. How you doing, Randy? Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it. I know you're a busy guy.
Yeah, now I'm proceeding here. A lot of talent. I got your brother. I had the great Chris Bedard. Now, finally, I get on, huh? I'm the lucky one.
You join a long list of very important people, so I'm glad to have you.
Yeah, it's great. No, thanks. Appreciate it.
So you are the owner of Destination Fitness in Kennebunk Port, or Lower Village, I should say. How long have you owned that business? And tell me a little bit about it.
So I started Destination Fitness just about the beginning of the pandemic. So I was still at my previous employer, Quest Fitness. I was there for about 11 years. And then at the beginning of the pandemic, when everything got shut down, I was like, all right, what am I going to do here with my career? You know, obviously it was kind of the unknown at the time. And I was like, I'm not willing to risk or lose my whole career for something like this. So with some of the owners, talking, it was just best that I separated from them and going on my own. And so I created Destination Fitness with some thoughts and people's input. And then I created my logo with one of my clients. Their nephew was into logo design and marketing in Chicago. So we created that. And then I started doing Zoom was my main thing throughout those 2 years. But also I built my clients' home gyms and started going to homes one-on-one. So that was for about 2.5 years until I started this facility in April.
Okay. So I'll get back to the facility in a second, but just so I understand, the pandemic is what pushed this. You weren't doing this before COVID happened. Like, you were happy where you were before, you had a good client base, good facilities, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, question great. I had a great client base, and I still went to some homes on the side. Yeah. But the pandemic created a lot of, at least 50% of my clientele were obviously older population and weren't willing to come in right away. And at the time, I was a commission trainer. Actually, most of my years there, I didn't have a base salary. So it's either, total loss or I was gaining. Yeah. And that's when my son was about to be born here in that middle of March at the time. And because I have to make a move here. I can't just sit still waiting for this to open back up or find out when are we going to reopen and how I'm going to get all my clientele back in time. So when I made that move, majority of my clientele came with me either on Zoom or I went to their homes just one-on-one, since most of the time it felt safer for them just being with me. So
being able to Zoom is pretty huge. And it looks like that's still a part of your business to some degree.
Yes, absolutely. It's a lot less now since I have the facility. 90% of my clientele is in person, but I still have some Zoom currently right now. But as some people leave here for winter homes, I Zoom from, I believe, 7 states now. I have Boston, Charlottesville, Virginia, Park City, Utah, Tennessee, Florida, LA, San Fran, and then Texas as well. It gives me that availability. When people leave, I don't lose my clientele. They stick with me year round in that aspect. So it's great. And then you can continue to keep them on track with their programming. So
in a sense, that's nothing about the pandemic was good, but it forced you to find an online option that has benefited your business beyond things getting back to normal, which is cool.
Absolutely. I mean, if the pandemic didn't happen, I don't think this was created, because I'm more of a complacent guy. I don't take a lot of risk. I'm just comfortable and I stay stagnant. So this actually again, pandemic's not a great thing, but for me, it was a blessing because I wouldn't have taken those risks and steps. And now, I risk a lot more because I know in the experience I've had through this.
Yeah.
So it's built my business, my confidence, and my career a lot more in that aspect.
So why don't we talk about the specific things that you offer? So it's personal training is pretty broad, at least in my mind. Like, is it very specific type of personal training? Are there other things that go along with the personal training? What's that all entail?
So yeah, the personal training. So obviously everybody strength trains with me, but on the off days, I put together some of their programs. So whether it's another workout they do on their own, or it's a running workout, cardio, and then also a lot of nutrition, because that's a big thing I harp on with all my clients and just in general movement. So we put in general, we put together a weekly plan, monthly plan on what they're going to do on the offset of being with me 2 to 3 or 4 times a week, whatever it is. So
could someone go to you just for the nutrition piece, or just wouldn't make sense if they weren't doing some type of
typically, because I'm not a licensed technically nutritionist. I have a minor in nutrition and concentration when I graduated, but I'm not going to be covered by an insurance company or anything like that. So typically, no, I don't just take on and write extreme plans for nutrition. But when you are training with me, then I will guide you, write some stuff up, that type of thing.
Yeah. So it supplements the training stuff, but the main piece is the training.
Absolutely.
So, yes. Yeah. Tell me about the space that you're in right now. Where is that located? What's it like?
So I'm in Lower
How does that help your
Village,
business?
right down the road from right into the center of town. I got a great location.
In Kennebunk, though.
Kennebunk. I'm on the Kennebunk side. And this location is like, it just happened all very fast. Actually, I was on a plane coming back from Florida, and my clients who own this property had texted me. I looked at the text saying, hey, we have the studio available. We want you in it. And it was just something where I'm staring at the text and I knew this was the move. Because over the past few years, I was trying to look through property around town, Kennebunk, Port, and Arundel. And with the cost of everything, still with the pandemic here, it financially just didn't make sense, or it was almost too much of a risk for me. But this message was like, this is it. I have to do this. And I have ample parking. It's right out of the way of the traffic, but you can still walk into town. And it's been a great thing for me. I love the location. I love my space. It's about 1,000 square foot studio.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
It's just private training. That's all I have. It's not a membership based gym.
So you're always going to be one-on-one, or maybe just a handful of people.
So I do one-on-one partner training, and I do some small groups, 3 or 4 people max, because of my space, to keep it not clustered and everybody going smoothly in it on a class. But 4-person.
Well, it makes sense. You're not a gym, right? I mean, it's like,
exactly.
No one would really be in there on their own without you anyway. So it makes sense to just have one-on-one or groups of people that know each other that are kind of doing all the same stuff, So that's cool. What were some of the challenges that you had when you opened up your business? Was there certain things, obviously just a pandemic aside, but were there certain things that you learned through the whole process that were tough to overcome?
Just the business aspect of it. I mean, I was never really a business oriented guy. I just made my schedule, trained, and I worked under someone all the time. Mm-hmm. So now it was me. Got a lot of advice from a lot of our friends, family members, most of my clients who all own their big businesses or were CEOs of companies. And, was very nervous at the time because I didn't know what to expect. I had to set up an LLC, all this stuff was foreign to me. I knew some about it, but I didn't really understand it. And, getting insurance, setting up, I designed the gym, ordering the equipment, just, to that, but it went relatively smoothly. Mm-hmm. And I really, as it started and the gym was in progress, it's become so easy, it's just the daily thing now. I have an accountant, QuickBooks, just the gym, all my scheduling is pretty much done the same every week now. So,
Now, would you have any advice for anyone that's thinking about starting in your business, doing the same type of thing as you? Any thoughts on that?
My thoughts is don't be scared. Mm-hmm. Don't be complacent. I would go after it. If they have a passion for it, and had a dream for it, there's nothing that, in my opinion, that's going to be bad coming out of it. Yeah, it might not be a total success maybe for them, but they've learned from it. Now they know what not to do in these accidents. This is still every week. There's stuff that, I learned from, but what not to do and what I should have done. And I think that comes with any business, but in my career, this is the best move that could have happened to me.
Nice.
For sure. I don't think I'll ever go work for someone again at this point, knowing
it's tough to work for someone once you
flexibility I have, the control I have, since obviously I'm a control freak in that aspect and super anal. And I love it. I don't have to answer to anybody. And if something bad happens or there's a failure or something, it comes on me. I don't have to blame anybody else. It's all on me. And I have to learn.
Not everyone can work that way, so it's kind of cool to hear that you like that part of.
Yeah, that's the challenge. That's the challenge. It's 100% you. There's nobody else. Mm-hmm. And so you're either doing it and you're going to be successful or it's a fail. Yeah. And that's the challenge, I guess, we all take as business owners independently. So
it's interesting to hear how many people answer that same question the same way, right? Like a lot of times it's like, what's the advice you have for starting this business or jumping into this business? And a lot of times the advice is just do it.
Right.
You'll learn as you go, you'll make changes, improve things, and hopefully be successful from there. But I think that's always good advice for people to hear. If you're thinking about doing it, if you have a passion for doing it, just take the plunge, make it happen, give it a shot.
And it was a risk for everybody. Every successful person's had their failures and has taken a big risk with it too, right? So again, it was during a pandemic time where, my fallback could have been back at the gym, right? Yeah. And I could have been back there, but I took this risk to do that, and it's been a very huge success.
It's been good.
So
now, are you looking to grow at all in terms of adding additional staff, or are you still looking to take on new clients, or are you kind of maxed out on that? Front, or
currently I am maxed out. I don't have any more room in my schedule. I have a wait list of clients currently right now that I'll reach out to when there's availability, but I'm looking to expand actually within this building. There's another part right behind me here in the gym. It's around 300 square feet that I will eventually it'll be a winter project for me that I'll expand the gym to do another segment for more group classes. Yep. And then as far as right now, taking on an employee or something, probably not right now currently. Yeah. Maybe down the road. I've looked at other facilities, locations, and properties here around the same location since I love this location to potentially do a membership gym, but that's kind of fallen off the track of.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could always leave that open, that idea open.
It's always in the back of my mind. It's something, if the right opportunity comes along, then I'll take that opportunity. But for right now, keeping my schedule full and potential expansion for this gym itself.
My thought first went to the idea of you adding another one of you, not necessarily making it like a membership gym where people just kind of stop in, but more like another trainer that had their own set of clients or help with your clients if you were unavailable. You probably need more space for that.
If I do the expansion, then that will be an absolute consideration. But for right now, because of the space in here, it's just one open room with my equipment. A lot of my clients just like the one-on-one space, and that's what they're paying for. It's that privacy. So a lot of them probably would not be a fan of having someone else come into the space and train. So that's why I'm holding off on that. But if I can get a separate room, an area, and training space, then yes, that will be a consideration.
What are your hours? Do you work
I start at 5 a.m. every morning. So I get here, I have a client at 5 a.m. I start every morning. Yeah. So and then I go, and then depending the season and day, it goes from 3 to 5, ending every day around. So.
But are you only open during the week time, or do you open on the weekends?
No, I do. I train on Saturdays as well. So I have 3 to 4 to 5 clients every Saturday morning. I usually do.
Animal.
Yep. So
nice.
No Sundays though, especially because it's football season. So
let's go. How about those Packers?
Oh, terrible, atrocious. I know. I just finally got over it.
Did you? You don't look like you're over it.
You're right, I'm not.
You're not looking much better though.
I'm
So.
trying to.
What would you say your keys to success are? Like, what's the thing about yourself that you think has helped get you to where you are? Is it just the quality of service?
It's the keys to success, I would say, is obviously no one's perfect, but it's the motivation factor. It's my drive. So I surround myself literally with hour by hours, many successful people. They've all been there, done it, whether it's a CEO, business owner, sports owner, actress, actor, political person. They've all been very successful in their own rights. And so that's what drives me, because you hear their stories. And I'm a believer, the people you surround yourself around, you will become. And back then, obviously, when I was younger, I didn't pay attention to that stuff. And I should have probably networked better back then, especially when I was in school. But I think my biggest thing to my success is the drive. I see how successful all my clients have been in the way they live and what they do and who they are and who they meet. And that's what drives me a lot in my business.
Yeah. You've always managed to train some pretty highly successful people, whether it was doctors, surgeons, actors. I mean,
and that's the area, Kennebunk Port, obviously, it's, more, wealthier, area, successful area, and a lot of people.
But you've been able to connect to those people, obviously, through word of mouth, right? I mean, you've always done a nice job for people that your name is spread to the point that you are working with some of those upper end people. It doesn't happen by chance. I don't think that all of your clients are in that same bucket.
Fortunately for me, when I started at Quest, because actually when I started at Quest, I had just moved back from Dallas, actually, from SMU. And I was going to go for a master's and doctorate at Springfield College for strength conditioning. And so in the meantime, it was until the following fall, I moved back from Dallas. And so I started working at Quest for the meantime, just for those 10 months. And I built up a very unique clientele for me. And that's why I never went back. I was like, why go more in student loan debt if I'm going to do the same thing here? So I stayed at Quest and I built, again, a very unique clientele. And I've been very fortunate. And through that, it's just been all word of mouth. Luckily for me, I haven't really had to put a ton into marketing in that aspect of my business. So again, I've been very lucky and fortunate.
So why don't we talk about some of those people that you do train? Sounds like there's a long list of people that are very successful in their career. A few celebrities you said you trained.
Yeah. Again, Kennebunk Port is a very sought after area. A lot of people that go under the radar here that live here through the summer or vacation here or have a home here that a lot of people don't know about. So, I've trained the likes of, through clients and family members. Ali Lauder was an actress I've trained a lot. She's here every summer because of family, and I train a lot of her family. Terry Hatcher I've trained before several times. Obviously, the former president, 41, was a client of mine for a few years, and all of those family members, and currently right now, 43, President Bush, I train, and some of their family members still.
Which is pretty amazing, right? Like, to think, who would have thought
he's a newer client, because when I was on Walker's Point, I was always going there. I didn't have this facility. I would train a lot of the cousins and family members, and then I got to train 41 because of one of my mentors, Heath Pierce, who was the long time trainer of Barbara and the president. And he got a very big position at UNE, and he's still there now. But I took over for him a lot, helping out. And that's
a great connection
with him. And then 43 and his staff had reached out to me this past year. And that's when I began training him. But he comes here, though. Gave him an ultimatum. I said, I can't drive anymore. It takes time off.
So, what's it like training those people, right? Is there an intimidation factor at first and then eventually it's normal? Or, is it always a little bit like, okay, I'm training the former president of the United States, in my own space? Like, isn't that wild?
The very first time I met him, yes. There's that factor of, it's intimidating, nervous. Typically, I'm very good at being able to tell right away their personality, what jokes I can say, how I can handle them. And when you have a political figure, you get warned. Before I had a lot of his staff, chief of staff, doctor, PT, physical therapist, trainers calling me saying, "Harry, this is what you talk about. This is what you can't ask. This, they go over everything." I mean, I think that week before I started training, it was like 10 hours of phone calls, just talking about what he likes, what you can't do with him, what you can, everything like that. And so when he was at Walker's Point, I went to the gym, and honestly, he's an extremely down to earth guy.
Yeah. He looks like it. He comes across that way for sure.
He walks in, it's let's go.
Yeah.
We see the game, we talk, sports, whatever we talk about, and it's just an everyday thing. The more intimidating that is when the Secret Service all shows up. I got both the vehicles, and I have 3 other vehicles surrounding my building every time he comes, right? So one comes already an hour early, checking out the building, make sure no one's around, and then
every single time.
Yeah. It doesn't fail. So again, obviously within good reason for him, right? But he, again, very down to earth guy. It's an honor to really be part of his staff now. So
yeah, that's really cool. Hopefully he comes back. I did not realize that they spent as much time in Kennebunk Port still. Yeah, just assume that when 41 passed away, Walker's Point might be a destination for some of the family throughout the course of the summer, a week here, a week there. But I didn't realize that people still spent such an extended period of time over there.
Yeah, I mean, literally every sibling now has a house on the point. Now, president, he spends from mid-May to just right now here. And then
wow, I had no idea.
So yeah, he spends a lot of time here now. They love Maine. Again, now all the siblings, a couple of them went back, but some stay here till Thanksgiving. There's that point's always, besides obviously winter months, pretty much occupied all the time.
Yeah, man, that's a great property. How is it in there? Pretty cool spot.
Oh yeah. It's
beautiful view.
I mean, you get the view from the street, but when you actually go onto the property and see everything there's a lot of spots you don't see either. So
definitely,
again, within obviously reason for that, but so no.
We took the boat out there last summer. We actually hadn't done it this summer yet. Down past Walker's Point and kind of got the view from the ocean. It's a beautiful piece of land.
It is very unique.
One of those places in Maine that people when they're here they go check it out.
Right. Absolutely.
Well, that's great, man. I'm proud of you for being able to build your business to the point that you're training people like that. I mean, the sky's the limit, really. If you can train actors, actresses, surgeons, former presidents, who can't you train? So.
Oh yeah, it's again very fortunate and lucky. Meet right time, right place, some aspects. So again, just as long as I have member retention, that's the biggest thing in my business. Yeah. I don't hurt them or piss them off. So.
The fact that your schedule's booked says a lot, right? Like anytime someone has a business like yours and they don't have any openings and there's a wait list to get on, that's a sign that you're doing something right. Yeah. Do you have any health tips that you generally share with people? Just like general tips? Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like maybe so cliche or so like, all right, yeah, we know that. I mean, it's the fact of it's just the consistency in the general movement. Sometimes it really baffles me. A lot of people out there in general public, right? They work out that hour every day, then they go home and that's it, right? That's it. It's done. Well, I worked out today. I should be losing weight. But the rest of the 23 hours out of the day, they're sitting on their rear end, right? And not moving. People think there's just this magic pill, right? This weight loss pill, this supplement. It's not going to work. End of story. It's literally consistency. It does not
move your body, do it a lot.
You can stay consistent and relatively eat a healthier diet. You will achieve goals. Now, there's always those small percentages of circumstances when it comes to genetic, hormone, just all this, and I won't get into that. But in general, if you stay consistent, you will get results. End of story.
And that's what you do. You help people stay consistent on the movement side of things.
I mean, accountable. I mean, I've had a lot of my clients have been with me 8, 9, 10 years, 11 years, right? So they know how to do a push-up, right? Do they absolutely need me there 3 times a week for a push-up? Probably not. But it's the accountability. They know if I'm not there scheduled saying, where the hell are you in a text? they're not coming in or they're not working out. So it's the accountability aspect of me,
Definitely.
and the drives.
Accountability is such a big thing for people.
Yeah.
I see it in my life personally when it comes to fitness, right? Like the times I've been most successful were in being healthy, losing weight and all that stuff is when I had someone that I had to be accountable to. Being accountable to yourself is hard for people,
And that goes with me. I can fall off the wagon just as much when you're fatigued, tired, not getting enough sleep, kids at home, daily stresses, everything. You can fall off the wagon very quickly.
I saw you that night at the fantasy draft with the barbecue. I mean, it's easy to fall off the wagon when you're eating the barbecue.
It's not easy. It's very easy. And I did smoke. I had my smoker going this weekend too. Good.
Great. Football season.
That's right.
Now, one of the things I saw on the website with the rates, I don't know if this stuff's accurate, but I actually don't think it's that expensive to hire you. Like $60 for a 60-minute session is very reasonable.
So with the rates, I went very back and forth on this. So actually, I'm pretty below average compared to my two other competitors in town. I'm not. I guess I do it for a reason. The aspect is I don't overcharge, number one, because I don't want to take advantage of someone. It doesn't matter who they are or how much they have. Mm-hmm. And it keeps my schedule filled in an aspect of don't have to worry about, all right, this person leaves. How do I fill this spot in? Yeah. And then value aspect, do I think a trainer sometimes is really worth $100 an hour? Maybe. Again, it's a value aspect of the areas we're in. I'm not going to charge Boston prices, $125 an hour.
Is that what it is?
Maine, yeah. You know what I mean? So again, some places around here are like that. And I just don't see the value and aspect of pricing points. So I priced it in the aspect of what I used to train and price at versus what I have now. So.
Well, hey, I think that's not a bad approach. Obviously, you're getting super busy or have been super busy. So at some point, this is not like it has to be like this for the next 20 years. At some point, if the market dictates it a little bit more and there's some room to go, then
absolutely, yeah. And inflation, everything, right? Everything always eventually goes up, and those are business decisions I'm going to have to make as cost goes up. So, but I'll get there.
Awesome, dude. I'll be sure to share this info when I post the pod. I think it's super helpful, so I definitely want to spread the word. I mean, obviously there's wait lists too, so there's only so much people can do, but I'd love to get the name Destination Fitness out there for people. So
absolutely, I appreciate it.
All right, well then why don't we just call it good with that? How is the best way to contact you?
So the best way, besides my cell phone, which my cell phone's on the website, if you go to destinationfitnessmaine.com, there's a contact page for the contact trainer. You can message me directly in there, and it'll go right to my email, and then I'll respond back. So that's easy.
Awesome, dude. Appreciate you taking the time, man. Proud of you. You're doing a good job. Keep it up. And thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on. Been waiting, so it's been good.
We talked about it earlier, so I'm glad we finally made it happen. All right, brother. We'll be in touch.
All right. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.